Imagine capturing the enemy, winning the greatest war in human history, then secretly offering jobs to the very people who helped build your enemy's war machine. Not soldiers, not generals, scientists, engineers, rocket designers, men whose inventions had rained destruction across Europe instead of prison. They were given new homes, new identities, and a second chance. Not because America forgave them, but because America needed them. This is the story of Operation Paperclip, a secret mission so controversial that decades later, historians are still asking the same question: did America save the world, or sacrifice its own principles to win the future? Spring. The Third Reich was collapsing. Berlin had become a city of smoke, shattered concrete, and endless artillery fire. Soviet forces pushed in from the east. American, British, and French armies advanced from the west. Hitler's empire, which had once stretched across much of Europe, was falling apart. Government officials fled. Military commanders surrendered. Entire divisions laid down their weapons. But while millions celebrated the approaching end of the war, something else was happening behind closed doors. American intelligence officers, British agents, and Soviet military units weren't only searching for Nazi leaders. They were hunting something far more valuable. People, not ordinary people. Scientists. As the war ended, a terrifying realization spread through every major Allied government. Germany had not been defeated because it lacked intelligence. Quite the opposite. Nazi Germany possessed some of the most advanced scientists on Earth, years ahead of nearly everyone else. While much of the world still relied on conventional weapons, German laboratories had already developed technologies that looked almost futuristic. Jet-powered fighter aircraft, advanced submarines, long-range ballistic missiles, guided weapons, experimental aircraft, chemical research, medical innovations. Some projects had failed, others had succeeded beyond anyone's expectations. The Allies suddenly understood something terrifying. If these scientists disappeared, they wouldn't stay unemployed for long. Someone else would recruit them, and there was only one nation capable of doing it: the Soviet Union. World War II wasn't even officially over. Yet another conflict had quietly begun. There were no declarations, no battlefields, no bombs, only a race. A race to capture knowledge. Washington feared Moscow. Moscow feared Washington. Both governments understood the same truth. The next global superpower would not be decided only by armies. It would be decided by technology. Whoever controlled Germany's scientific brainpower could control the future. American intelligence officers received urgent new orders. Forget the factories. Forget the abandoned bunkers. Find the scientists before the Soviets did. Among all of Germany's secret projects, one stood above the rest: the V-2 rocket. Unlike conventional artillery, the V-2 didn't simply fly toward its target. It left Earth's atmosphere, then fell back toward the ground faster than the speed of sound. People never heard it coming. There was no warning, no sirens, no time to hide. One moment, a city was quiet. The next, an explosion tore through streets without warning. For the first time in history, humanity had created a true ballistic missile. The weapon terrified Allied commanders, not only because of what it had already done, but because of what it could eventually become. If Germany had been given more time, what would have come next? That question haunted military planners, and it led them to one man. Deep inside the mountains of Germany worked a brilliant young engineer. His name was Wernher von Braun. Since childhood, he had dreamed of space. He imagined rockets carrying people beyond Earth's atmosphere, to the moon, perhaps even farther. But dreams require money, and during the 1930s, only one government was willing to fund rockets on such a massive scale: Nazi Germany. Von Braun accepted. Under Hitler's regime, his team transformed experimental rocket designs into the V-2, the world's first operational long-range ballistic missile. Thousands were launched during the war, destroying cities, killing civilians, leaving fear wherever they landed. Yet after Germany's defeat, America didn't just want his research, it wanted him alive. As Germany collapsed, American intelligence launched one of the most unusual manhunts in history. Not to arrest scientists, to recruit them. Special teams raced across occupied Germany searching laboratories, military bases, research centers, and underground factories. Every hour mattered, because Soviet forces were searching for the exact same people. Some scientists surrendered willingly, others hid. Some destroyed research, others buried documents beneath the ground. Every discovery became a race against time. Whoever reached them first would inherit decades of scientific progress. But bringing these men to America would create a problem no one had fully considered. Not everyone they wanted had clean hands. Some had worked closely with the Nazi regime. Some had been members of the Nazi Party. Others had overseen projects built with forced labor. America had defeated Nazi Germany. Now, it faced an impossible decision. Could it fight tyranny while secretly employing those who had served it? Or was this the price of surviving the dangerous world that was already taking shape? That question would become the foundation of one of the most controversial secret operations in American history. Operation Paperclip was about to begin. The mission had a name: Operation Paperclip. Officially, it was described as a program to recruit German scientists whose knowledge could benefit the United States. Unofficially, it was far more complicated. Many of the men America wanted had worked under Hitler's regime. Some had joined the Nazi Party. Others had contributed directly to Germany's military machine. In public, the United States had promised to remove Nazism from Germany, behind closed doors. It was making exceptions, not because these men were innocent, but because the Cold War had already begun. Washington believed one thing above all else: if America didn't recruit them, the Soviet Union would. And that was a risk they refused to take. So, quietly, the operation moved forward. Scientists, engineers, and technicians left the ruins of post-war Germany, not as prisoners, but as valuable assets. Many arrived in the United States with their families. They were given homes, laboratories, military contracts, new careers. Some personnel files were revised or reviewed to remove obstacles that might prevent recruitment, a decision that would later become one of the program's most controversial aspects. To the American public, most of these names meant nothing. To military planners, they represented the future. Entire research teams were placed inside military bases. Others worked at newly established laboratories across the country. America wasn't simply hiring scientists. It was importing decades of knowledge that had been built during one of history's darkest regimes. Among all the recruits, one man stood above the rest: Wernher von Braun. To many Americans, he would eventually become the smiling face of the space age. He appeared in television interviews, explained rockets to children, spoke about exploring the moon, inspired an entire generation to dream beyond Earth. But there was another version of his story. Before becoming an American hero, he had been Germany's leading rocket engineer. The V-2 rockets he helped develop had struck cities across Britain and Europe. Thousands of civilians had been killed. The missiles themselves were only part of the tragedy. Many were built using forced labor under horrific conditions. Countless prisoners died manufacturing weapons they would never see launched. Years later, historians would continue debating the same question: where should history remember von Braun? As the engineer who helped humanity reach the moon, or as the scientist whose greatest achievements began under one of history's most brutal dictatorships? There has never been an easy answer. America wasn't the only country searching for German scientists. The Soviet Union was doing exactly the same. Entire research facilities were dismantled, factories were stripped, blueprints disappeared, rocket parts were loaded onto trains. Scientists found themselves caught between two emerging superpowers. Some chose America, others ended up in the Soviet Union. The battlefield had changed, the fighting had not. This time, the weapons weren't tanks, they were equations, engineering, physics, chemistry. Knowledge itself had become the world's most valuable resource. The country that mastered it could shape the future. The years passed. The Cold War intensified. Then, in 1957, the Soviet Union shocked the world. Sputnik, the first artificial satellite. America suddenly realized it was losing the space race. The response was immediate. Investment exploded, rocket programs expanded, the United States created NASA, and at the center of America's greatest space ambitions stood Wernher von Braun. The same engineer who had once built rockets for Hitler now designed rockets capable of carrying humans beyond Earth. His Saturn V rocket became the most powerful launch vehicle ever successfully flown. On July 16, 1969, It lifted Apollo 11 into space. 4 days later, human beings walked on the moon. Millions watched in amazement. Few realized how deeply that achievement was connected to decisions made in secret nearly 25 years earlier. Operation Paperclip succeeded. There is little debate about that. America gained scientific expertise that strengthened its military, accelerated its missile programs, and contributed to its success in the space race. But success came at a cost. The program forced an uncomfortable question. Can a democracy defend freedom while employing men who once served a dictatorship? Should scientific genius outweigh moral responsibility? Could justice be postponed if national security demanded it? These questions have never fully disappeared. Historians still disagree. Some argue Operation Paperclip prevented the Soviet Union from gaining a decisive technological advantage. Others believe America compromised the very values it claimed to defend. Perhaps both are true. Operation Paperclip was never simply about recruiting scientists. It marked the beginning of a new kind of warfare, a world where intelligence became more valuable than territory, where laboratories could matter more than battlefields, where a single engineer might influence history more than an entire army. Its consequences reached far beyond the Cold War. Missile technology, space exploration, modern aerospace engineering. Even today's rockets carry echoes of ideas first developed during that turbulent era. The operation reshaped science, military strategy, global politics, and the balance of power for generations. History often tells us that wars end when the fighting stops. Operation Paperclip tells a different story. Sometimes, the most important battles begin after the peace treaty is signed. The guns fall silent, the flags come down, but another war quietly begins. A war for ideas, for knowledge, for the people capable of changing the future. America defeated Nazi Germany, yet in order to secure tomorrow, it recruited some of yesterday's greatest enemies. Was it a necessary decision, made in an unforgiving world? Or was it one of history's greatest moral compromises? The answer depends on where you choose to draw the line between justice and survival. Because sometimes, history's most powerful weapon isn't a bomb. It's the mind of the person who knows how to build one.